Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Alejandro, and since my 2-year anniversary working for Virgin is coming on up, I decided to go ahead and create this video to share with you all what my audition experience was like. Because the program has changed, the auditions themselves have also changed as well, so I will share with you all what my experience was like, but if you're about to go to an audition for Virgin, just know that it might be a little bit different, but throughout the video, I'll sprinkle in what are some of those differences, and then I'll also share some of the tips and tricks that helped me land a successful audition, my friends. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So I auditioned about 2 years ago. It was February 28th, 2022 to be exact. I was wrapping up my final year of college up in New York City. I had my eye on Virgin for quite a while. I had the opportunity to go on the ship as a sailor, and honestly, I fell completely in love. I really wanted to audition for them the second I got on the ship because I just loved the energy and the vibe. That being said, I had previously dropped out of college to go work for Royal Caribbean for 3 years, and I had just gotten back in college. And so I saw that when they first posted auditions back in 2019, and I really wanted to go. But I was like, Alejandro, you're gonna get your degree and then you can go audition. And I was like, fine. So every time they posted auditions, I desperately wanted to go, but I kept holding myself back. Finally, in 2022, they were having auditions. The posting said that they were hiring for summer and fall, and I was gonna graduate that May. So I was like, that's perfect. I'll audition in February, I'll get the gig, I can relax some of summer, and then I'll get on the ship in the fall. Spoiler alert, that did not happen. I got on the ship much sooner. I first found the audition posting on Backstage, and essentially they were looking for 4 different things. First one was for singers, the next one would have been for dancers, then there were actors slash hosts, and then the last one was actors who are also musicians. If you're going to an audition now, you'll notice if you look at the website, which I'll link it in bio below, they have it broken down a little bit more. So for happenings, there's actually 2 now. There is happenings who are gonna dance, and that's gonna be your influencers, which is what I am. And then they'll also have the aficionados, which are the people who have more like specialties, such as like the balancer, the artist, the foodie, and things like that. They gave us 2 monologues. The first one was going to be a snippet from It's a Ship Show, the opening, and then the second one, it was from Scoop There It Is, which is actually like an ice cream game show that we get to play with the diva on board, which is really exciting because I now host that game show. But it was those 2 little monologues, and they're much more like hosting monologues than there are like your traditional play monologue. I don't know what the other way to say it is. If you have a better way to say that, let me know below. Now, when I am memorizing monologues, I memorize them 2 ways, or in 2 places. The first one is actually in the shower, where I'll just be like showering and then saying the monologue over and over in my head. And then the second one is if I'm walking somewhere, which was really helpful living in New York because I had about like a 20-25 minute walk to my gym. So every morning I'd be walking to the gym, saying the monologues in my head over and over again. I wanted to make sure that I didn't like oversaturate the way I wanted to say them, simply because a lot of the monologue slash script was very like audience heavy, where I would give you a call and response. And so I wanted to make sure that I was flexible enough that if they gave me a redirect or if I wanted to play off the audience in the room, that I'd be able to. So I wanted to make sure that I memorized it enough that I knew all the words, but I didn't memorize it to a point that it was just robotic and I only had one way to say it, which I think was actually really, really helpful. Now, I was wrapping up my senior year of college, and so I think that was also very helpful because I was in an acting class and an auditioning class my final semester. With both of them, I feel really, really helped me nail this audition. One of the biggest tips that they gave me was whenever you're going to an audition, it's scary, but at the end of the day, the people on the other side of the table want you to succeed. Like, they want you to be what they're looking for because that's their job. And so just knowing when you're entering the space that they want you to be good is just nice, because I feel like sometimes you walk into a space and you're like, they're judging me, but just knowing that they're there wanting you to succeed really, really helped me mentally. And the second one was auditions are just like a moment for you to share like what you're passionate about. And I really tried to like go in with that mentality. Like, I knew this company, I knew the brand, and I really enjoyed the vibe that I got when I sailed for them, and I just wanted to be a part of that. And I felt like I was a really good fit, in all honesty, and I like to think that I am. So going into the audition, I was like, I'm just gonna walk into the space and just show them that I can do this. And I think my mentality going in really, really helped. I was also trying to figure out how best to approach the monologue. simply because they were breaks, like I said, for call and responses. And I wasn't sure exactly how much they wanted me to stick to the script. Because again, it's while you're hosting, I wanted to showcase that I could also improv and banter and go back and forth. And I found in the script like cute little like one-liners that I myself wanted to plug in like I normally would when I'm hosting. And I kept going back and forth because I was like, can I add things to the script? Can I take things away that don't feel true to me? Are they gonna hate that? What's gonna happen? And obviously, like, if you know me, you know I'm an overthinker. So I kept going back and forth. And I was living with 4 other people at the time, and I would just grab them and be like, is this funny? Listen to it. Is it too much? And they were all super, super supportive. And ultimately, I decided to go ahead and plug in the one-liners and banter and just showcase that I really could improv. And then the other thing was I wasn't sure what to wear. So usually would either go to like dance calls or very like character specific calls. But this was just kind of like the character is me, and a lot of the branding with auditionings back then, which it still is now, is just come as you are. Like they don't want to see you be a character, they want to see you be you. And I feel like that stays true for even when you get on the ship. They're not asking you to portray someone you're not, they're just asking you to be who you are. And so I was like, how the hell am I supposed to dress for who I am? What I ended up wearing, which is very honestly like what I wear a lot on the ship, is I wore a black tank top similar to this one. I wore these beautiful blue dress pants, and then I wore my cute little lace-up boot heels. I remember I kept like overthinking if I should wear the heel or not. I was like, do I wear the heel? Do I not wear the heel? Is the heel too edgy? Is the heel not edgy enough? I don't know why, looking back, it feels so silly that I overthought it so much. Ultimately, I decided to wear the heel, which just felt like very true to me. If you've been on the ship and you've seen me perform, you know that I do walk around the ship a lot in my heels. It's just part of like my identity and how I like to express myself. So I decided ultimately with both of those, choosing to add the one-liners and also wearing the heels, rather have taken the job because they want me and they want my persona versus like me auditioning in a way that's not true to myself, and then I get the job, and then I feel like I have to edit who I am. So I decided I'm just gonna go all in and give them everything that I have, which I feel paid off. Obviously, I mean, I'm here, so I think it paid off. The day of the audition was coming up. It was being held at Ripley Greer Studios. I like to give myself a buffer where I get there early enough that I'm obviously not late, but not too early that I'm just like sitting there waiting because I know that I'll get anxious. When I got there that day, because I think they were in New York for 2 days, earlier that day they did the dancing call. So at the time that I got there, there were callbacks for the dancers, but then I was put in a room with the actors, and there was, I want to say, about 60 of us, give or take. They had us all line on up, and then they would give us a number. They took a quick photo of us, and then they asked for our email, and then we would sit down, and then they shot us an email, and we basically uploaded our digital headshot and our digital resume. And then after they got through the entire line, the casting director came in and they basically just introduced everyone that was going to be in the room with us, which I thought was really, really beautiful. They then talked us how the audition themselves were going to work, and then they talked a little bit about life on the ship and what that would be like. And then after that, they're like, great, we'll call you in just a moment. The energy in the room was really electric. Everyone was really, really friendly. I felt like it was just like a really positive vibe, which I really appreciated. Now, I don't know how I look to other people at auditions, but I personally will like find a seat, keep myself grounded, take deep breaths in and out. Sometimes I'll listen to music, so I'll usually have like an AirPod in, and then I'll just be like breathing and just making sure that I feel grounded and ready. I know a lot of people were very social and they were like exchanging Instagrams and asking like all of these fun facts, and I'm just like not that girl at auditions. I'm like, I need to just sit and be here for myself. So they then came in, and because there were so many of us, they decided that they were going to take us in 5 at a time. I am really grateful because it worked out that I was going to be in the first group of 5. And so they pulled us all into a separate room with, there was the casting director, one other person, and then they set up like a little camera in the background to kind of like film us so they could watch us later on. And I got really lucky because I think I got the best spot, in all honesty. So I was in the first group because that meant like I could just audition and leave and go about my life versus like sitting in the waiting room. But then I was also spot number 5. So that meant I got to watch everyone else go, and then I got to go, which was great for me. But alas, the casting director was super friendly. She basically was just like, you're gonna come on up, you're gonna do your 2 little monologues, if you can slate towards the camera, and then we're just gonna ask you a few questions and see how you vibe. Again, I felt like my energy going in was really positive, and I felt really like calm. And I know this is gonna sound really silly, but I felt like I was really manifesting this. I was like, this is meant for me. And like the more I read the descriptions, I was like, I really feel like I'm the right fit for this. And I was like, this is my role to lose. And so I stood on up, and the casting director looked at me, and I'll never forget, she goes, you look incredible. And I was like, oh, Thank goodness after like overthinking so much about the outfit and specifically the heels, I was like, thank goodness they like it. We're good to go. And then I just went for it. I think the things that really helped my specific like little monologue auditions, I made sure to use the audience. So the casting director was straight ahead of me. There was a camera over here, and then to the side was everyone else. And I made sure to like play to the people. I don't know if that makes sense, but like working on cruise ships before, I knew that a lot of these venues that you're performing in are not your traditional, like I'm standing here, the audience is there. Like there's people all around you. And so I made sure to like feel really planted and just play to like everyone that was there. So like I would shoot a look to like the camera, I would shoot a look to the casting director, I would like turn to like face the other people who are auditioning and just make sure that like I felt like I was feeding off of everyone in the space because I felt like that would really translate to when I was on the ship. And then I just let myself have fun. I think like so many times we enter an audition space and you feel like you can't have fun. And something that I felt like Virgin really welcomes is this ability to just like be yourself and let go. And I was like, at the end of the day, and this was my mentality going in, like, I want to make sure I give them everything that I have. And if that's not what they're looking for, that's fine. But at least I gave them everything. And I did. Like, I was like, I just remember having like the most fun possible. I like threw in my one-liner jokes. They laughed a little bit. On the spaces where I needed like the call and responses from the audience, I really like pulled that energy from them. And I just felt really solid. And then after my two monologues, she then asked me, as she asked everyone else, she was like, is there a specific role that you've found online that you're auditioning for? And unsure how many people of you know this, but I actually was auditioning originally to be the balancer. The balancer is the wellness guru on the ship as part of the happenings cast. So they'll host like fitness events through the day, but then they'll also get to dance at night. And I thought that was really the perfect fit for me at the time because I was like, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that fitness is a big part of my life. And I was teaching dance fitness up in New York already, so I really wanted to translate that back or onto the ship. I was like, I get to marry, my performance life and my fitness life into one. I think this is the right fit for me. So I basically just told them that that's what I was looking for, as well as gave them some of like my credentials for that. And then after that, they said, you're completely free to go. We'll get back to you. I remember they said that, so that was at the end of February, that they would let us know by the end of March. And so I took a deep breath. I said, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And then I grabbed my things and I headed out. I called my sister right after and I was like, girl, I got it. I was like, I feel really solid. I think I got it. Life is good. I remember I was choreographing a show at the time, so I then went to rehearsals for that. And everyone else was like, how was it? And I was like, I think I did it. I think I did really, really good. And we had a calendar in my dorm room and I highlighted the final week of March because I was like, this is when they're gonna call me. I'm not gonna worry about it. Life is good. March came and left. I remember my best friend's birthday is on April 1st and I was at her birthday party and I was like, they still haven't called me. And I started panicking at this point in time. The graduation was just around the corner and everyone was making plans for what to do after. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do after, as well as some of my friends were looking for apartments, asking if I wanted to live with them. But again, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna go work on a cruise ship. I don't need an apartment. And so I was going back and forth as to what to do, but I was manifesting this call. And I'll never forget, I was sitting in my dorm room and I was about to go work a shift because I was an RA at the time. And I saw that phone number and the head office is in Orlando. And I saw a 407 number and I went, this is it. And I like screamed at my roommates and I was like, it's happening. And I answered and they're like, hello, we're calling from Virgin. And I specifically said, I've been expecting you. They basically gave me a rundown of what the job was. I ended up being casted as the hype, not the balancer. Spoiler. I was very happy. And it was really funny because I feel like they were trying to sell me on the job, but like I already knew I really wanted this. We chatted for a bit, and then she said she'd send me the contract and I could look it over. Obviously, I accepted the job and I've been very happy ever since. But yeah, that was basically my audition experience. It was really positive. It was a really good day, and again, it was my first professional audition in New York, but I just remember feeling so grateful that the energy was where it was. And again, if you have any questions because you're about to audition, shoot me a message down below. Again, I don't work for casting, but I'm always happy to share what my experience working for the company has been. It's been very positive, friends. So if you're thinking about auditioning, just do it. But feel free to shoot me a message. I really appreciate you watching, and it really has been such a beautiful 2 years with the company, and I'm so grateful that you guys have joined me for part of that journey. Thank you again for watching. Do not forget to comment, like, subscribe, because I still don't know how the algorithm works, but I think that helps. You guys are stars. Have a great one. Adios, amores. I just realized that this wall has been in, oh no, that's my phone. That's the phone. Wow, my brain.